Hello everyone, and welcome back to DMG. Recently, I took a passive GPU and slapped a fan on it. But today, I'm going to be doing the exact opposite. Now, I could just unplug this fan and say, wow, look, it's a passive card now. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it the cool way, both figuratively and literally. You see, most ATI cards, and AMD cards for that matter, use the same cooler mounting holes. So, for example, I could take either of these heatsinks from an HD 4870X2, the fan from this, whatever it is, I forgot, the fan from this HD 8570, or the fan from this FirePro 2270X1 fan. I did not mean to say fan, but if you look at the mounting holes on the back, they perfectly align on all of these cards. So, with that said, I'm going to be taking one of these and screwing it onto one of these cards. Now, this card is actually kind of nice, so I've decided to not use it. This is, I think, an HD 7350. It's only about twice as powerful as a GeForce 210, and all of those other cards are about 4 times as powerful as it. The issue is, though, it doesn't have screw holes. As you can see, it's clips. I might not be able to reattach the heatsink very well. This is going to be permanent. I'm going to just cut them off. I'm very confident in my abilities. Okay. Oh, that's a tiny die. Look at that die. Sorry that was out of frame for a while. And also, I can't get this... There we go. Look at that tiny little heatsink. So, this weighs about 2 pounds, this huge chunk of copper. So I think it should be able to cool it adequately. Oh, wow. Just look at that. I'm pretty sure this heatsink is worth like twice as much as the rest of this card. Then I also have this one, which is, it has less just like copper, but it's got a big heat pipe on it. So I'm actually going to test this card with both of these and see which is the most efficient, which means our friend FurMark is going to have to make a return. I need some thermal paste. Okay, here we go. Corsair TM30 to the rescue. I can't get it open. Okay, there we go. It's hilarious how minuscule this die is. I'm just going to wipe it off with my shirt really quickly. Interesting. The die says ATI. Got a little bit of the old paste off, but for this it won't really matter. I've never had to put that little paste on something before. So this, on the 4870X2, they would have been oriented like that and like that. But I'm going to orient it like that because, of course, if I put it like that, which I could because it's square, but it would stick out over the top of the card and look really freaking ugly. So yeah, I can just take these screws and screw them in. These are the screws from a, I believe these are from an HD 8570 that died. Same one I took the fan from in the GeForce 210 video. It's been a valuable part source. Now, of course, this is not recommended if you have an actually nice GPU. This is just a proof of concept for me because I like to mess around with things. And see, even though the mounting holes line up, there's not very much pressure. So if you were to actually do this with your card and make it passive, I wouldn't recommend doing it on a system that has the graphics card facing down. I do it on one that has it heatsink side up. which is how I'm going to be testing this card. And I believe this card is like 15 watts or something. It has such a tiny power draw that's just so insignificant that it'll probably not even fully saturate this heatsink, even if I get it working at maximum capacity. Oh, that's just so funny looking. But yeah, I'm gonna go stick it in an isolated environment that has absolutely no air passing over the card. So that means using a riser to take it out of the case so that not even the case fans are blowing across it, so that we get a good sense of what it's like. And then I'm going to swap it out for this heatsink and see how it does. So I'm glad my driver installation is going well. We've got our GPU mounted outside of our case so that case airflow doesn't really affect it at all. I'm going to load up FurMark and hardware info. I'm sorry, the system is quite slow. I'm going to load up FurMark and hardware info to monitor the GPU's temperatures. It says the GPU is 54 Celsius. No OneDrive. I'm not gonna. Okay. I'll just do GPU stress test. I'll just go ahead and launch that. It's 4:35 right now. So I'll do maybe 10 minutes or so. Oh, straight up to 61. 62. It says fan at 56, but of course there is no fan. Okay, after 3 minutes, our max temp, 65°C. Going over here and feeling the heatsink, still pretty cool to the touch, but I can definitely feel it heating up. Look at that graph, it's very gradually rising. Oh, it says max 66 now. Okay, so it hit 66, but still that's quite cool. Okay, it's been another 3 minutes. Our max temp is 68. It's getting a bit warm to the touch, a bit uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to leave my hand on there for too long, but obviously it doesn't immediately burn my hand. Oh, we just went up to 69. So of course, if you were literally just daily driving this card passive, that would be totally fine. Now, I was going to compare it with this active cooler from an R5-240, another lower end AMD card, but I don't even think that I have to do that because it's doing so well passive. So I have decided I am going to put the other heatsink on it just to test out and compare, because I will be quite interested to see that result. It's been another 3 minutes. Our max is in the low 70s. Okay, it is now 4:45, which means it is 10 minutes into our test. Look at that. Max temp 74°C. Now, I will say these aren't impressive clocks. 650 megahertz core, 800 megahertz memory. So I can go ahead and close FurMark. What I could do is try overclocking with Afterburner. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to feel it, because it's definitely getting quite hot. Like it starts hurting my hand after a couple of seconds. But oh, hey, perfect, the air conditioning. Let's see if we can't overclock this a bit. Okay, 700, 900. Oh, I forgot, I've got safe overclocking on. Extend official overclocking limits. No, I don't want to reboot it yet. Okay, so let's try FurMark again, overclocked, and just see how hot we can get this card. It's already dropped back down to 65 from about 73. Oh, 72. Back up to 72 pretty immediately. And yeah, 700, 900, so our overclock is working. Oh, we've hit 73 again. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes and it's hanging around 74, 75, which is quite impressive. So I'm going to turn this off, swap out that cooler, and I'll be right back. Okay, so in less than 2 minutes I've swapped out the cooler. The card is notably lighter. And because all I've swapped is the cooler, the nice thing is I won't need to do any driver reconfiguration. I need that. All I'll need to do is just plug it back in, and turn it back on. Okay, we've got it booted back up with our new heatsink on. It's idling at 41 Celsius, which, okay, so this heatsink, to be fair, it hasn't been on a hot GPU for a while, but I'm just going to go straight to overclocked GPU stress test. And I'm going to do this for 10 minutes as well. It is 4:57 right now. We're up to 46, 47. But yeah, I'll come back at 5:07. That's what I'm trying to say. And check how this is doing. I can't believe it. That heatsink must be just so much better. It's been about 5 minutes. Our max is 63 compared to the, after like 6 minutes on the other one, being in the high 60s, low 70s. So that heatsink must just be much better. Okay, it has now been 10 minutes. Our max temp is 73, and that's while overclocked. So, I mean, hey, what can I say? Since this cooler is performing so well, even with safe overclocking disabled, I can't push it much farther, any farther actually. So that's unfortunate. I was hoping to be able to max that a bit. Feeling the heatsink, it actually feels a lot less hot than the other one. So I guess that just goes to show how intercompatible these things are.